Oh, hey guys, yeah. I was just on the phone with God, and he told me that there was a lot of cut/altered features of my design from conception to birth. I can't believe it. Look at this. I wrote some of them down. I was supposed to be 6'3", only 5'2" right now. I was supposed to have blue eyes, and I was supposed to be black. Game developers are always trying to make their products the best that they can be, so it makes sense that a lot of the games from initial conception to their release have a lot of changes. The initial idea for a game all the way up till its release can be drastically different. I mean, just look at Conker's Bad Fur Day. That game was completely different from start to finish. It was basically a brand new game. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, believe it or not, has a lot of cut/altered content that I want to talk about today and really get into. I have Jihad on the channel today, who has also been covering a lot of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom content since the initial announcement of Rehydrated, and we're going to be talking about cut/altered content within the original Battle for Bikini Bottom. We also did a video on his channel talking about our favorite courses and levels in Battle for Bikini Bottom, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, I'll have the link in the description. But with that being said, take it away, Jihad.
What's good, Dynamite? It is your boy Jihad. Welcome back, and I hope you guys are having a bomb-tastic day. It is my pleasure to be a part of this amazing collab video with my boy Bassab. We are the dynamic duo. This guy is super fucking talented, and he makes the most awesome content ever. So believe you me, this is my pleasure. I am so fucking excited. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, today's topic is the cut content that was originally supposed to be a part of Battle for Bikini Bottom that was left on the cutting room floor by Heavy Iron Studios. So first, we are going to talk about Sandy's Tree Dome. Now, most of you do not know that Sandy's Tree Dome was actually supposed to be more than what it originally was. If you guys look at this image here from the concept art, her tree dome was actually supposed to be, you know, a lot more livelier. As you can see, there are these stepping stones that you would step on to get to the top of the treehouse. And if you guys look at the very top of the treehouse, there is a hole. That pretty much indicates that at some point you would actually be able to go inside of Sandy's house. For whatever reason, this idea was scrapped and left on the cutting room floor. And when you actually play Battle for Bikini Bottom the first time, we don't actually get to go into Sandy's actual house, but we do actually get to go in her actual tree dome. So I'm assuming that maybe due to the insufficient disk space or due to creative differences, they decided to actually not make Sandy's actual house accessible. I would have loved to see the inside of Sandy's house, considering we get to see the inside of Squidward's house, Patrick's house, the Chum Bucket, the Krusty Krab, and a couple other places as well, including the Mermalair. So it does suck that we never actually got to go inside, but hopefully for the rehydrated version that's coming out in 2020, Purple Lamp Studios will actually make this a thing and allow us to go into Sandy's actual house. For those of you who do not know, Purple Lamp Studios are reviving a lot of the deleted content that was left on the cutting room floor by Heavy Iron Studios and putting it back into the new and improved game that's coming out next year. That makes me so fucking excited to know that we get even more juicier content that was originally intended to be in the game. But with that being said, we are going to go to our next pick.
Speaking of more areas to travel, Glove World itself was actually supposed to be another location that you could go and battle for Bikini Bottom. It was actually supposed to be its entire own world, like downtown Bikini Bottom or like Jellyfish Fields, but for some reason it was scrapped. Now, it has been theorized that a lot of the elements of Glove World were worked into the pier for Goo Lagoon, so it looks like we weren't necessarily missing out on this location too much because a lot of it was reworked into that area, but of course we didn't get the fully realized Glove World. And really, we only got this concept art, which just shows us a little bit of what we could have gotten in a Glove World area. And because we only have this piece of concept art here, we only know of one particular golden spatula that was planned for the level, and that was on top of this giant roller coaster. And I don't believe the episode with the fiery fist of pain from the Spongebob TV show was out at the time of this game's release or beforehand. So this would have just been some random roller coaster. That particular roller coaster, the Fiery Fist of Pain, that probably comes to mind when you think of a roller coaster in Glove World, probably wasn't that one. But it would have been really cool to traverse around or up this roller coaster to get this particular golden spatula, or maybe even ride the roller coaster to get up there. I don't know, we don't really get too much from just this one picture, but either way, it would have been cool to see.
Now our next pick is the infamous Robo Squidward concept art that can be seen in the theater after you beat the game. You get a certain amount of spatulas, shiny objects, and a couple other stuff as well. So for those of you who do not know, it has already been announced that for the rehydrated version coming out in 2020, Purple Lamp Studios is reviving a boss that was left on the cutting room floor, that boss being Robo Squidward. Now, Robo Squidward was originally supposed to be in Battle for Bikini Bottom's original version. However, due to creative differences, something happened. I guess maybe there wasn't enough disk space, yada yada yada, flim flam shabam a ram bam. The boss was cut from the game, and if you look at the concept images, you can only imagine how amazing this boss would have been had it actually made it into the game. Now, considering the fact that Robo Squidward is going to be in the new version of Battle for Bikini Bottom, if you guys want to keep this in mind, each character that is playable has a counterpart that is a robot. So, for instance, Spongebob, there's a Robo Spongebob boss at the end of the game. Sandy, there's a Robo Sandy boss that you beat in the game. Patrick, there's a Robo Patrick boss that you beat in the game. And now that they are adding Robo Squidward into the game, that really raises a lot of questions. It makes me wonder, so considering all of the other playable characters have Robo counterparts of themselves, that makes me wonder if Squidward at some point in the game will be playable. Now, for those of you who do not know, there is a excluded clarinet model in the game's code that someone actually hacked into, and it shows you all of the cut stuff in the game that wasn't used, and it shows that Heavy Iron Studios actually intended for Squidward to have a clarinet. Now the question is, what was he going to do with that clarinet? The world may never know. Some may assume that the clarinet would have been his weapon and that he would sing his enemies to death or whack them in the head. Either way, that would have been a really badass way to bring Squidward into the mix. We also have to consider the fact that in the PlayStation 2 era, a lot of shit back then, games were very limited compared to today, where you can fit a trillion billion shit on a fucking disc. Back then in the PS2 era, you can only fit but so much. And so I kind of do see why they cut a lot of content from the game. There was only so much they could put onto the game itself, even if it would have been amazing to see Squidward playable and have a Robo Squidward boss. But with that being said, Purple Lamp Studios has already announced that Robo Squidward is going to be making his way into the rehydrated version of the game. In fact, on Instagram the other day, somebody sent me an in-game model of Robo Squidward. Now, originally, I thought of this to be real. However, with that being said, it was confirmed by a couple of reliable sources that this is in fact a mod created by some of the members of the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom community. This is how dedicated this community is, that they would create something like this. But if you guys look at this, this looks very, very real. I actually made an entire video about it. If I had known that this was a mod created by the community, I probably wouldn't have made a video. But with that being said, this is the closest thing that we have to Robo Squidward right now. And so this is basically giving us a clearer image of what he could look like in the upcoming game. I doubt that they're going to veer away too far from the original concept art that you guys are looking at right now. So, I mean, this does look very, very real. Also, not to mention the fact that there's another concept image that shows Robo Squidward shooting out purple discs. Now, these purple discs, they kind of look like pretty patties to me. I don't know. But I'm assuming if they were pretty patties, they would be all different colors, since the pretty patties are reminiscent of a rainbow. And these are just purple, so we're going to assume these are purple laser beams. But if you guys look at this concept image and the other concept image, and we put these two together, we can only assume that Robo Squidward is going to be the most badass boss battle in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Rehydrated. And I am definitely looking forward to it.
One of the more minor things that were cut from Battle for Bikini Bottom was this sundae power-up. You all remember the sundae that Spongebob made in one of the episodes, and it was really disgusting, and it gave him really terrible breath. Well, in Battle for Bikini Bottom, this was supposed to be some sort of power-up that would make you invincible for a moment and be able to break, or I guess have superhuman strength, and break those stone tikis that you normally couldn't really break unless you use like the bubble bowl or something like that. I think it's easy to see why this particular power-up was cut, because it really didn't add too much to the game. These tikis could already be broken in different ways. Maybe when they were creating the sundae, they didn't have those options yet, but once they created them, decided to cut the sundae. Plus, it probably just wasted time, because really, what else was there to do with it? You'd become invincible, yeah, but how many areas of the game would that actually be useful? But I don't know, maybe they got far with it. We already have a model for what this power-up would have looked like, a good look at the sundae, and, I guess it could be placed in game already. They just decided, let's not use it. It could have been completely programmed and ready to go. They just decided not to do it at the last second. Of course, we don't really know. I'm not going to say we're missing out a ton when it comes to this power-up, but maybe it'll be in Rehydrated. And if it is, that's cool.
And with that being said, our final cut content from SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is none other than Pearl the Whale. Now, for those of you who do not know, it has been brought to my attention by a very reliable source that Pearl the Whale, aka Mr. Krabs' daughter, was originally supposed to be put in Battle for Bikini Bottom, aka FYI, there's also a model of her floating out there that was supposed to be put in SpongeBob Truth or Square, but that's for another video, another topic for another day. We're talking about Battle for Bikini Bottom. And so I received a very mysterious email a couple of weeks ago telling me that they are a former employee of Heavy Iron Studios and that this is a model of Pearl that never got finished and never made it into the game. Now, obviously, I don't know this to be truth or fact, but if you guys look at this model, it looks very, very real. It looks authentic as hell. And to be quite honest with you, it does kind of make sense that this would exist, considering Pearl is a very prominent character in the SpongeBob universe. We don't see her appear once in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Nobody mentions her, not even her own father mentions her. There's also no picture of her. It's almost as if she doesn't even exist. But obviously, if you watch SpongeBob, the TV show, then you'll know that Pearl is a recurring character that appears numerous times throughout the series. In fact, it's quite hard to forget her because she's a very, very, very strong, bombastic personality that you really can't forget unless you kind of just, bash yourself in the head, which I don't influence any of you to cause yourselves any physical damage. But with that said, guys, this model of Pearl does look real in my opinion. Now, there was a lot of naysayers who commented on my video that I made about this and said that it was fake. I actually had someone comment and say that this is from another game, which I'm still looking into right now. But with that being said, this model looks definitely like it was from the Battle for Bikini Bottom era. I definitely believe the guy who sent me the email telling me that this model was scrapped. And, it's a shame that Pearl never really got her justice for the SpongeBob video games. We actually don't see her appear in any of them. It's very strange that she doesn't. Her voice actor is Lori Allen. And according to this person who sent me this email, at the time when they tried to recruit Lori Allen, apparently she was busy and didn't have time to record any voice lines for the video game, and that is why we do not see Pearl in the game. According to this person who used to work for Heavy Iron Studios, they told me that at the time they couldn't find anyone else to do the character justice, and thus Pearl the Whale was scrapped and removed from the game entirely. That is very, very sad since, I kind of align Pearl with Mrs. Puff in a way. The both of them are very iconic characters, and they don't really need SpongeBob or any of the other characters to make them funny. They are just very unique characters. They're very interesting characters, interesting individuals, and I just love seeing them in SpongeBob, period. I just think they're fucking amazing. Mrs. Puff definitely made her appearance in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Remember her? Shaking like she's got Tourette's. But with that being said, It is still unknown to this day the actual truthful reason why Pearl never showed up. I mean, I could go by this email, but who's to say this person isn't lying to me, which I would hope not. But with that being said, it is a shame that Pearl never actually made her way into the game, but it is interesting and it is also fun to imagine what could have been. And considering you guys now have a picture of this image, it is safe to say that they actually did make the attempt to put Pearl into the game, and that's all I need to be satisfied. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for me. Those are my 3 picks of cut content for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. As controversial as they may be, I really enjoyed making this video with my boy Bassub and his awesome ass channel. I have been a fan of this guy for very, very long. He actually didn't know I was a fan of his, but his content is amazing, and this guy definitely deserves all the credit and the praise that he can get. If you are watching this video and you are not subscribed to this guy, you need to subscribe to this guy immediately. Immediately. You will not be disappointed. This guy creates awesome content. He has a great attitude and he's a good guy all around. But with that being said, I am going to shift the attention back to Bassub. Once again, this has been Jihad. I hope you guys are having a bomb-tastic, atomic-tastic, nuke-tastic day. Peace the fuck out.
The last thing we'd like to talk about are these costumes for SpongeBob that were originally supposed to be in Battle for Bikini Bottom. We don't know how these would be unlocked or anything like that, or if they'd be used in certain parts of the game, because, I mean, you have the Mermaid Man costume, that very well could have just been SpongeBob's attire when he went into the Mermalair, something like that, maybe even a bonus for completing the game or doing certain tasks, sort of like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie game. And I do believe a couple of these, or at least one of these, was used in that game. However, I haven't finished it. It's just from what I've heard. So, yeah, different costumes were cut from Battle for Bikini Bottom. And of course, I would love to see this actually return and rehydrated, with a bunch of other costumes as well for different areas that you could go into. It'd be really cool if, like in Kingdom Hearts, your attire just changes with the different locations that you go to. I don't know, could be really cool, or, you know, maybe just a bonus for completing certain tasks or something like that. Either way, I'm fine with it. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I want to give a big thanks to Jihad for being on the channel today, as well as you for, watching the video and supporting the channel. Like I mentioned earlier, we had another video on his channel, so definitely go ahead and check that out. Link will be in the description. Yeah, today was a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.